What's going on, folks? What's going on, everybody? My name is David, and I'm your legendary host of this legendary podcast, the Deconstructing Topic podcast, where we grab a topic, we deconstruct it, boom, boom, boom. We do whatever we got to do so we can learn from each other, because you already know one of my philosophies and mottos in life is saving a life, is saving a mind. Let's do it. Ooh, let's go on. And once again, we got a good one. We always got a good one, but today, off the bat, I'm just going to let you guys know, my people out there, I just want to say I appreciate for listening and taking your time. Once again, hit the like button for whatever the platform is. Do that favor, one of the biggest favor that your boy's going to do. And it's not just a favor. It's helping you get me to places where, hey, listen, we all want to sit here and we all want to hold each other's hand, hug each other, and be there for each other. So hit the like, feel free to comment, feel free to share. You already know that good stuff. But we got a little inspiration thing going on because it is 2026. And I just came off, dealing with the little virus. You already know here in the United States. And in parts of the world, it's that, how can I say it? It is flu season. It is kind of virus season. What's going on out there. So make sure you take care of yourself. When you are sick, make sure that you dehydrate yourself and then get all those fluids going on. Coconut water if you can. Water, whatever it is. Get some little hot soup, hot broth, all that good stuff. I just came from a couple of days from, dealing with the little thing that's going on, but we're here to tell that story. But that's why I decided, hey, listen, 2026, it's already here. We already here. And I would just want to share this story because if there's one thing in life, we all human beings here. If you know that somebody's out there, let's in another planet, another universe, another galaxy, hey, by all means, hit me up. You could also hit the like, comment, and share. Wow, imagine that. I'll be the first person where these extra life forms are sharing throughout the whole galaxy. Let's go. Woo. But again, for the most part, we are human beings and we deal with so many ups and downs in life. And we always, and many of us, have been in the situation where we know we need to make changes. We just don't know how to start. We don't know how to finish. We don't know, we don't know, right? As you and I always said to myself, oh, we in the same boat here. So you listening to this podcast, amen? And one of the things that I'm going to open up in the upcoming weeks, and especially this year, I have an interesting story to tell. It's been nine years in the making, and it's one of those things where I find myself, that I say to myself, and I feel it deep in my conscience, that it's not too late to open up about a certain aspect, certain situation in my life. Because I said, you know what? Life works in wonders, and a lot of things happen for a reason, and great things happen for those who believe and wait. And we always, for those out there listening, that find themselves, we need to make changes. David, I don't know. You can feel reach out to me. But once again, when we facing and we looking at each other in the mirror, or we facing with problems that once again we need to make changes, we kind of tend to ask that question. Is it too late? Is it too late to learn? Is it too late to change? Is it too late to do this? Is it too late to do that? And many of us, we know the answer. Whether it's a yes or no, wait, listen, we always want to be realistic on what exactly it is that one wants to do, something that's asking yourself that. Hey, a couple of episodes ago, hey, listen, if you're a certain age and you want to be an astronaut, by all means. Hey, by all means, but, sadly, there are criteria that you would need in order to become an astronaut, but it doesn't mean that you can get closer to it. So the question is it too late? What does it take for one to get that dedication to be like, hey, listen, because I always have said, a lot of times in life, it's not about motivation. It's about that discipline. And we always going to face with these problems, with these things, whether it's somewhere in our professional life, in our personal life, and whatever that's in between, we always going to be surrounded by so many circumstances that we get, in a way, stuck. We get complacent. And a lot of times we are just addicted to be complacent. Because for some reason, our mind and body and soul and heart and all that good stuff, we just not in the same page, not in the same room. Everybody's having their little problems going on, but hey, we are one. So we got to get those things together so that we can once and for all put ourselves in that situation where we can ask, or at least we could show that it's not too late. And often than not, there are circumstances and things that need to happen in life. And a lot of times it comes down to control. A lot of times it comes down to that discipline. A lot of times you just got to get out of that comfort zone, out of that thing that's going on, out of that complacency that is dragging you. A long time ago, I once heard a conversation. I'm at this little nice bar going on, paid the little parties, but hey, listen, it was mature audience having mature conversations. And I'd overheard these beautiful ladies who seemed to have more experience than I did. And they was talking, hey, you know what? Complacency is the mother of all evil. And I'm like, that struck a chord. Because at that time, this was a long time ago. I'm a young man. I'm still a young man. Hey, let's go. Wait, still got my point. Hey, let's go. But you get the gist. At that point in my life, there were new things that were happening. And I just started working in this beautiful place that I working at the moment. It's not even work. I call it my life or part of. And I started to think like, wait a minute, David, look where you at now. Look where you at that point. Ask yourself, and as I'm asking myself, but ask yourself, and those who are listening, to what point in your life you said to yourself, I need to make a change. How many New Year's resolution I have in life? 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. Can I make 10,000 New Year's resolution or all that good stuff? By all means. Once again, I always say, sometimes you don't have to hit the reset button when the new year starts, when the new calendar starts, or whatever calendar that you follow, different cultures, different regions, and so on. Sometimes you don't have to. But sometimes we are left where we hit the reset button when there's circumstances that takes off from the path and from that complacency. And then once again, it begs the question, is it too late? There's a song out there. I know for some reason it just played in my mind. Baby, it's too late. It's an old school song or a classic song. I wasn't born in that time, but you already know. Classic music that is classic. It's not old. What do you think that they call classic music that are 300 years old is classic? Just because something is 40, 50 is classic. Hey, listen, it's not always classic. But then, it's too late, but it's never too late. Because there are many things in life that, yes, we are going to say, well, it's too late. Too late. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, if the train tells you that it's going to be there at 8 and you there at 8:01, yeah, bye-bye. You were too late. That's too late. But I'm talking about there's certain things in life about making changes, making changes in your surroundings. You're waking up. You're throughout the life, 24 hours. You are 24 hours a day. What you do in your sleep, what you sleep on, whatever it is, what you think on. What's the first thing? And once again, I always tell people, when you start your day. Now, I'm going to say it's this. A lot of people, they work in different jobs where for them, the morning is the night, the afternoon is the evening. You get the gist. But whenever you is in a situation, especially if you wake up in the morning, that first step, that first thought, that is going to take you somewhere. And I always say, the way you wake up in the morning, a lot of times dictate how your day is going to be. And a lot of times we have bad days. But guess what? We remember how we woke up that morning. How did we get to the bad days? Hey, listen, we don't have control sometimes in life. But what we learn from that bad day, we take it. And that's when we turn a bad day into a great week. And when we turn a great week, then, hey, listen, we have a whole great month. And we have a great month. We have a legendary goddamn year. Woof, let's get it. I don't want anybody to feel discouraged that because of certain circumstances, don't think that it's too late. And I want people, again, just, my stories that I'm going to be sharing is stories that you say to yourself, wow, David, really? I was like, yeah, really. One of the things that I believe in myself. Is there are days that it's a little bit harder than others? Yes, absolutely. I'll be, I'll be straight up. You want to do this, you want to do that. It's the needs and the wants and all that good stuff. And then all those things that is going and racing in your mind is racing at 110 miles per hour. But guess what? Your body ain't. You stuck in a rod, or you stuck complacent. I always have this conversation with people who feel, yeah, I've been procrastinating. Procrastinating, once again, it has been proven by the scholars of psychology and how the mind works, is that, a lot of times, sadly, procrastination is a form of depression. There's some things that trigger for one to do. Sometimes we get busy, but there's things that trigger for us not to do anything. We just want to either this or that because, hey, sometimes I had a conversation with a young brother who just became a father, and, he has not been resting. And because of that, he also had been doing some content, took a big break. But from the little, from what he was explaining to me, it started, 1 week led to two, 3, 4 then months. And then he was like, wow, I think it's been a couple of months. It's been a few months that I did a podcast. I did content. And then what he said, I've been procrastinating. He explains it. Hey, rightfully so. I get it. But then he kind of, in a sense, started to realize, wait a minute. There are times that I do have time, and I like just to lay down and then, relax and do nothing. When he could have been doing some content. You understand that? That's where the procrastination, because sometimes circumstances, when we allow circumstances, they, sadly, guess what? They'll be knocking on our door. Hey, they'll be part of our life. And then you're going to start feeling like motionless. And you're going to start to feel like, there's nothing that we could do. And, I'm this and I'm dealing with that. And I'm in this situation and this and that. It's always those, can you do with this? Can you do with that? It's always those things. And then we tend to forget what is the most important thing about making a change and getting to that next level is us. They ain't going to question, is it too late anymore? Because life, and I could tell you in life with many stories, tomorrow is never guaranteed. And when tomorrow is never guaranteed, then the question doesn't become, is it too late? It becomes a statement and becomes a mission that it's not too late to make a change. All right, my folks, you already know. Got love for you all. 2026 is going to be legendary. Once again, feel free to share, hit the like, hit the comment. My information is in the description, wherever it is that you're listening to. I'm all over the place. You already know. Feel free to reach out to me. Let's get this 2026. Let's make it legendary. Because everything starts right now. Because once, again, as you're listening to this podcast and this episode, you're going to reach out to this episode. If you're subscribing or you just catching up on my episodes, guess what you're going to be doing? I guess it's never too late to listen to this wonderful, legendary host and the other episodes. Okay, you got a good one. Let's make it happen. And I'm out of here. Peace. Don't remember, it's never too late. I'm out. Peace.